I still have 59.
Oh.
I'll call the meeting to order. Rob, call the roll, please.
Ms. Least.
Here.
Mrs. Sweet.
Here.
Mr. Bear.
Here.
Mr. Whitaker. Mr. DeVoley. Mr. Hanna.
So we do not have a quorum this evening, so this will be informational, for informational purposes only. No formal action will be able to be taken by the council, but please join me in pledging allegiance to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any additions to our agenda this evening from council or staff? All right, hearing none, seeing none. The approval of the minutes from the last meeting on June 10th, that will be postponed until the first meeting in July, which will be on the 8th. But under finances, Rob, I'll turn it over to you. Good evening.
Good evening. For everyone's review this evening, there's the second resolution in our two-step process of getting the police levy back on the ballot. The county auditor's office has been great to work with. They got the information back to us right away. So here it is before you. We're using the exact same language from the revised code as we did last time for the purposes that we're allowed to do. Based on the increase in the valuation of total village property, the estimated annual collection now is $116,000 as opposed to $115,000 when it was on the ballot in spring.
Okay.
That is the only change to the resolution from the one that you passed previously last winter. I can't do anything tonight because we don't have enough people, but at the first meeting in July, that would be great to do because that'll give us a little breathing room for the Board of Elections to approve it before August 6th.
And, just to be on the safe side, let's make this the first reading of a resolution to proceed of the taxing authority for the village of Enon, just to be on the safe side. And then at the next meeting, we can go ahead and have a second reading and pass as an emergency.
Okay. Would you like me
Sound
to read
good?
it in its entirety?
That's the pleasure of the council.
I waive that we move the three reading rule.
Well,
Can we do that or not?
No.
don't have enough
Nope.
people. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
Then we
But
can't.
next meeting, yeah. So we'll do the first, this will be considered a first reading,
Okay.
so.
I don't need you to read it entirety
Okay.
No.
Okay.
unless they do.
Please summarize.
It is a 1.75 mil levy for a duration of 5 years, first collected in this year, first delivered next year. For every $100,000 of valuation, the taxpayer will pay $61, with an estimated annual collection of $116,000.
Thanks, Rob.
You're welcome. All of Mr. DeVoley's information is now with the Board of Elections, and I believe their website has been updated, at least it should have been, to include him as being official for the Village of Enon, so we're good to go there.
I'll talk a little bit about the budget.
Oh, yes, sorry. So, per the state of Ohio, we are required to pass a tax budget by July 15th and certify that to the county auditor's office by July 18th. So at our next meeting, we will have a hearing because that is also part of the required process at 6 o'clock. I don't anticipate it lasting very long, and we'll just go to regular business afterwards. I will have that information to you next week or so. The way that Ohio does it and the way that we do it is that our fiscal year runs January 1 to December 31, so we do this process halfway through. So we won't break down the appropriation line by line. We do it in two lumps. We do it personnel and everything else. And talking with the mayor, we think that we'll increase the personal services lines by 3% as a baseline. That doesn't mean anyone's getting a 3% increase or that we're going to see 3% increase in costs. That's just what we're going to certify to the county that we are able to spend within what revenues that I estimate. And then at the end of the year, we'll do the full-throated budget process where we'll go line by line and you'll vote on appropriations then. So this is just sort of sets us up to be able to do that at the end of the year, but it meets the state requirements.
So when you get that completed, can you just email that to
I will,
everybody?
yes, I will.
Awesome. That
So
would be
the-
great.
So like, we'll do a 3% we'll do a 3% increase in each of the funds, personal services lines, based on the estimated carryovers that we're gonna have in a couple of funds that we've already previously certified. We will have to reduce the spending amount in the everything else category. That doesn't mean that we'll have to do budget cuts at the end of the year, because we'll have a better idea about what our actual carryover balances will be, and we can balance off of that. But to keep us square with what we've certified we're going to receive in revenue and what the appropriations will be, streets is the fund that's going to be an issue. We're going to have to show, at least on the books right now, to do some cuts in everything else.
Okay.
Just because what our estimated carryover to be at the end of the year compared with what our revenue and appropriations are this year, we wouldn't be able to continue that into next year without going into the red. Now, I think our carryover will actually be healthier than what the certified estimate is, but just to get us through.
As a rule, not always, but we are usually a little under spending wise what we have appropriated, which allows for a little bit better carryover at the end of the year, as a rule, just in general. So hopefully that trend will continue.
And I think that it will. We had those big projects at the end of last year that we paid quite a bit of money for. So our cash balance in the street fund got pretty low, and we're slowly building that back up. We're just not in a place that we could, write a huge check right now for any projects.
Okay. Any questions for our fiscal officer? All right. Thanks, Rob.
Is everyone okay with doing that hearing at 6 o'clock on July 8th?
8th, I think it is, yeah.
July 8th?
Yep.
Did you have anything else?
No, sir. Thank you.
Questions for our fiscal officer? Seeing none? All right. We'll go into communications. After a lot of research, we will be switching life insurance companies. And Rob, if you make sure this gets put in the minutes, I'd appreciate it. And the carrier's name is Principal Insurance Company. That is administered through the Highland Group, which is the same group that takes care of our liability insurance. And this was the only company that would be willing to provide coverage for not only full and part-time employees, but also for elected officials. The cost for that will be $168 a month, a little over $2,000 a year. And just like the previous policy that we had through Companion Life, there is an age reduction due to age at 65 years of age and 70 years. But $20,000 is the amount of coverage for most of our employees and elected officials. It appears as though if we can get the paperwork rolling, and Christie's already started that this would take effect July 1st. So a lot of work went on with this. I appreciate everybody's patience. We've got it resolved. As of July 1st, we should be in good shape. So
And I think that she's going to email forms to the council members, so we can get those in by the 1st.
yes,
And we're taking care of everything with the other. insurance.
yes.
Okay.
That is all settled and taken care of, and so we're in great shape now.
Okay.
Good learning experience. One item, kind of a sad note, longtime resident Phil Travis passed away last week, and many of us knew Phil. Marge, his wife, served 16 years on council, and either 1 or 1.5 years actually as mayor. But, our thoughts and prayers go out to Marge and her family, and she's recuperating from a medical condition, so let's be thinking about them. But again, I think they moved to Enon back in the 60s, if I'm not mistaken, so longtime residents. Did anybody have any other communication? All right, let's go into staff reports, and Kevin, I'll turn it over to you.
Good evening. Christy put out an email about the blood drive that they are in desperate need of blood donors. June has been a catastrophic month of low donor turnout and blood drive cancellations. She was saying we need all hands on deck, try to finish out the month strong before July 4th weekend, which is always one of the most difficult weekends of the year to maintain blood supply, as usage is all-time high. Due to this, every blood drive from now until July 6th they will be giving away $25 e-gift cards to all blood donors. Kind of an incentive for people to sign up for to give blood. You get a $25 e-gift card. So anybody interested in donating blood, it's www.donortime.com. The next blood drive will be this Thursday. Is it this? Yeah, this Thursday, June 26th, from 12:30 to 6:30. So if anybody's interested out there to donate blood, let's get on that donortime.com and update on the wind and storm damage from June 18th. We had some quite a few limbs down in the park, Enon Park. There was a couple areas in town that had some trees down. Kudos to the guys that got out and got the streets cleared, and then the following day got out and cleaned up. Everybody chipped in and got all that debris picked up and hauled away. So they did a good job, fantastic job. So nothing, I didn't think there was nothing major that I heard of, but
We had one at the corner of Brunswick and Rebert that ripped the electric mass off the house. But they were out yesterday fixing that. The electric company was, so they got that repaired.
good. Next item on the agenda, my agenda, is the generator. Just wanted to bring you all up to date on what's going on with the generator project for the water treatment plant. The generator is at the shipping company, waiting to be shipped to us. I know we were going around about a tariff charge that came into effect. Actually, a $14,000 tariff charge that came into effect. After the fact that we, ordered it and it was on its way and things like that. So we did reached out to Paul Cavanaugh just to see if there was anything that could be done with this added charge, whether it would be, we didn't have to pay or it could be discounted or anything like that. He reviewed the initial contract, and we are obligated to pay those kind of taxes, unfortunately, even though it was kind of unforeseen. So what's going to happen, we're going to purchase it. The actual purchase price at the time we did enter an agreement was under the bid amount. So Paul wrote a letter for our file for the auditor, just in case they would ask that it was over the bid amount. The initial cost was not over the bid amount at that time. So
And that covers you in the village.
Excuse me?
Covers you in the village.
Yes. So yes, we will end up paying for that. So we got to prep the area, and it'll be just a phone call away, and we'll get it shipped here and get that second phase of that project buttoned up. So.
And let's emphasize, even with the $14,000, it was still the cheapest price that we had received estimate at the time. So it was still cheaper than the other ones that we had received.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, mark your calendars if you're interested. It's not until December, and I'll keep reminding you, but the Miami Valley Planning and Zoning Workshop is scheduled again for December the 5th, 2025. Last year was my first year going, and it was very, very informative. So I'm hoping that maybe some of the BZA members can go, Planning Commission, Council. But like I say, I'll keep reminding. But that's very informative. A lot of good information at that workshop. So.
You want to mention the BZA training?
BZA training, we had
Brent
Huntsman,
Yeah.
Brent Huntsman come and do some training with the BZA members. I felt it went very well. It was about an hour and a half training. A lot of good questions. I think it'd be beneficial. I think Elmer mentioned it too, to maybe have that a yearly thing, as people change on the committee. Have that a yearly thing, So yeah, it's very informative, and he's a wealth of knowledge. I'm telling you.
Yes.
So, but that went well, and I think, like I say, I'm going to push that, for people to go to, because that's very informative. So, the park toys for the Nature Work grant, we did get 3 of the mounts for the spring toys installed. Today the guys put the edging around and added a little bit of mulch in where they're at just to hold the fabric down until we get all the mulch completed. Tomorrow there'll be one more toy that we got to dig out and put the edging around, and I'm going to be putting one of the swing sets together to get that prepped to dig holes. So it's coming. It's coming. I'm not going to tear any more down until we get kind of the easy stuff put up. That way we're not taking too much away and wasting playtime for the kids. So
And you got the big one assembled.
we got
in the garage.
I think the hardest one assembled in the garage. It was it was a doozy, I tell you, but we got it together. So we'll just carry that over.
Well, you stayed with it.
Carry that over and set it where we want, mark the holes, put it out of the way, dig the holes, and set it.
Was it not enough pieces or too many pieces?
It was. You couldn't screw it together until you got it all together, which was a problem because then everything you put in one piece together and it'd fall out over here, and so it was tough.
And you didn't videotape that?
Oh no, that would have won some money, I think. But no, it's good. It's together. We just have to get it out and plumb the legs up where they're straight, and then we can start screwing it together, and it won't fall apart. So, but we're moving on it. The guys are helping out on that as well. So, let's see here. Got signs ordered for the walk path. I'm going to be getting those installed next week for the new walk path, kind of directional arrows and things like that. So, so people can start walking on that. BZA got a meeting tomorrow at 6:30 for the Skyline Drive property, and that is a square footage variance, 200 square foot less variance. The minimum was 1,300 and her house is 1,100, just to give you an idea. So
Let me stop right there just for a second. People have different opinions on zoning and zoning regulations and enforcement. This village has had zoning regulations since the 1950s, and that's afforded through the state of Ohio that allows a municipal corporation to establish its own zoning. And the whole purpose of that is to protect properties and to make sure that something adversely doesn't go next to maybe another property. But part of all that process is to have a planning commission and have a BZA. It's not a power thing. It's just a right that has been established through the state of Ohio to help instances where something doesn't meet a code and there is an appeal process. And that's exactly what we have exercised here. It's nothing new. These things have been around since the 50s. And again, the last major revision that we had in our zoning codes was 2006, 2007. So these have been around for a long time, and we do our best to try to keep them up to date, which is what we're working on now. But that whole process is a due process that a person can appeal if it doesn't meet a particular zoning regulation. So this is, I guess the point I want to emphasize, this is nothing new that the Village of Enon has started doing. It's been around for years. So
the last thing I got is the Crossroads Community Planning, the company that's doing our diagnostic report for our zoning code. They did finish it up. They would like to come to the village and take a tour of the village either Wednesday, July 9th or Wednesday, July 16th. So I'm just waiting on what date would work best to set that up, and then they'll go over their results with us at that time, and then kind of keep moving forward on that. So I'll have more information after that meeting about that. So
can you give an update on the Bob White property as well, please?
Bob White property, Mr. Tackett was served today with a notice to clean up his property, his cars. We went onto the property and took pictures. The lieutenant, myself, and Christy took pictures of numerous cars, trash, building materials, and you didn't see it all from the road until you got up in the driveway, and it was like, wow. So he did get served today. He has 1 week midnight of July 1st to get it all cleaned up. He said he could have it all cleaned up, so I had him come up and sign a paper, and we notarized it, so he's on the clock, basically, so,
Thanks for staying with that. That's been an ongoing issue.
yes.
So,
So, that's all I have, thank you.
Question, Kevin.
Yes.
Are the guys having any issues with the heat? Are they getting out in the morning mowing the grass and stuff?
They're starting, Doug's starting, they came in at 6 today to started mowing Enon Park and stuff, so they're coming in early. Got them some hydration drinks and stuff. They're taking breaks. I emphasize that. They're getting in the air conditioning every so often. So yeah,
Okay.
they're doing all right. So.
Okay,
Yep.
good. Thanks.
any other questions? Okay, thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it. And Lieutenant, I'll turn it over to you in just a second. One quick thing came to mind. I did speak or communicated with Mr. Hanna yesterday. There were 5 applications that were submitted as of yesterday for the chief's position. And then he'll be back in town, I believe he said tomorrow night or Thursday, and then determine what process is going to take place with those 5 applicants.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, first of all, we got the July 4th parade coming up. We'll have most of our officers working that day. I'm also looking to get an extra officer in on the 3rd for the fireworks, mainly around Greenan, since they have all of the parking and everything in there. So I want to try to get somebody in there to just be in that parking lot moving around. The beginning of the month, I went to a mock school bus training, crash training at the Fairborn City Schools with Greenan's transportation supervisor to get some ideas, because we're looking to do a mock crash here ourselves August the 13th. We ran it by the superintendent, which I wasn't sure whether he was going to approve it or not, but I said, I want to get it more realistic. It's not going to be very often that you got a school bus crash in the middle of an open parking lot. So we went to Neil King and got permission for him to put the school bus down in the ditch on Fowler Road. I'm going to, with your guys' permission, approach the township trustees to make sure that they don't have a problem with the shutting down that section of Fowler Road for the morning for the training. I've already talked to the road guys at the township. They don't have a problem working with Chief Heath on it. So we're looking to be a pretty good training for not only the school bus drivers mainly, but also the fire department and law enforcement. We're inviting, so we'll get Houston involved since they're right there, as well as Minerva Township. And then they're reaching out to several of the different school districts to see if they want to bring any of their drivers over for the training. So that's a work in progress. But like I say, I want to talk to the trustees to make sure they don't have a problem with us shutting down Fowler Road for that afternoon, which I don't look for them to have an issue with it.
I think it's a great idea. I didn't know it was going to be that big, but I think it's wonderful.
We're trying to, the idea is we're going to actually have the school bus plus a vehicle. So it's going to give the fire department more realistic, because it's like I say, not very often you're going to have a single school bus flipped over. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have another vehicle involved. You're going to have other people involved. Clark County's Explorers, they've volunteered to come in to act as students along with some of the bus drivers as students to be in the bus so that we can do the extrication. It'll be a good training, I think. I think it'll go over real well.
Certainly been a lot of accidents there.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was asked today, they said, did somebody give money for this training? And I said, no, this is just people volunteering to do this. And they said, well, we've just had so many, it was the EMA, said we've had so many trainings like this people are calling us and letting us know about. And I said, well, it really hit close to home with Northwestern's bus last year. A lot of people, a lot of the deputies and stuff were involved in it, a lot of the fire departments and the schools. So a little bit more lifelike training. Hopefully it'll go as planned. So
Will they be recording that?
actually, I'm going to park one of our cruisers with it to where it's going to catch it on the in-car camera, so it'll catch everything. I'm going to try to get Deputy Baldwin to bring the drone down to do
That's the-
overhead
yeah.
overhead video of it, so we can have something that we can look at afterwards and kind of do a debriefing as of what could be done better.
Yeah. That would be nice. I mean, there's several people that have drones. It'd be
Yep.
nice to have it
Yep.
recorded.
We had Officer Hupp resigned last week. I want to thank Officer Schaefer for stepping up and changing his shift without me even having to ask him. He called me and asked if I wanted him to change the second shift. So in order so we could get second shift covered versus some of the overnights aren't being covered at this time, but we're covering as much as we can.
Please send them our thanks also.
We have the officer, we got into the hiring process. She's went through the polygraph. Her psych eval is scheduled for this Thursday. So hopefully we can get her on soon to pick up some of the slack.
Be a good addition to the department.
And then we've got another part-time person that we're looking at that actually resides here in the village. It's always you get more take responsibility when you live where you work, because people come knocking on your door. So we're looking at getting him hired part-time with possibility of full-time later in the fact if we can get it fiscally possible. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot.
You know approximately how long it takes after the psych eval to...
I was just asking Officer Schaefer because I've never dealt with the psych eval, so I don't know how long it takes to get the report back. He said it was just a couple days.
Okay,
The polygraph I got back that night.
okay.
They called me and said it was done, and within 3 hours I had the report in my email.
And the psych eval is the last step,
Last
isn't it?
step before the conditional hire, and then
Okay.
once we get the officer we're looking at is left the sheriff's office in 2022, so she'll have 16 hours of training that she has to do to keep her certification up. She has to have a commission in order to do the training, and has a year once she's commissioned to do that training. So there's one more class this year, which is in September, and there's no classes scheduled for next year. So we're hoping we can get her into the September class.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Thanks, Jeff.
Yep.
Good job. Any other items from anybody?
I'd like to schedule a legislative committee meeting. Ben, are you available next Tuesday evening? Same time as our regular meeting?
Is that
6.
on the first?
Yes, sir. And who else is on that committee? Oh, Cindy.
I am.
Yay, Cindy.
What time? What
6.
time? What day?
The 1st of July.
The 1st of July.
It's Canada Day.
It is Canada Day.
Oh, sorry. We're scheduling, Maxine can't hear me, sorry. I'm scheduling a legislative committee meeting
On Canada Day.
on Canada Day. Yeah. I didn't know that until I opened my calendar.
I'm available.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
6 o'clock.
I, as far as I know, I am,
Okay,
I should be
6
fine.
o'clock, yeah.
For what topic?
Legislative.
Yeah, legislation. Hold on a second.
Legislation.
Ordinances, yeah.
Discuss the
okay.
ordinances.
Discuss the
Ordinances.
additional ordinances that we've been working on.
Kevin, can
I
you
read
take
the-
care of the public notice on that?
Yes, I will, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Anything else? Comments from our public? Meeting adjourned. Thank you all. Well, I can't ask for a motion. 'cause-
Nope.